Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And as you can see, we just got the brand new Phantoms in the Shadows Souei and Souka, part of the new Schemer meta. And you know what? They seem to be pretty good, which is quite unfortunate for people that have no crystals because they spent it all on Blanc or the Spirit Master meta. So for that, sorry, welcome to gotcha games. But what do they do now that we have their entire kits? Let's take a look at them. First off, let's take a look at the banner that they are part of. So obviously, they are the new characters. There is no rate up. This is not a half anniversary banner. This is now the post half anniversary, back down to the typical 5%. And by God, I felt that. But Soka and Souei are featured alongside Primal Demon Space Blanc, Visions of Coleus Space Violet, Warrior's Mind 1.0 Space Violet, Fire Ogre's Pride Momiji, and then Water Wielder of Magic Shinsha. So, meh. Like, both the Violets I think are okay for what they're meant to do. Momiji has kind of fallen off, but she still exists. Shinsha is, I mean, if you have Blanc, she's pretty unnecessary. And that, well, the new Warrior's Mind 2.0 Blanc. And then Primal Demon Blanc is just kind of garbage, so it's kind of unfortunate. So you're not really worth it. You're still fine. You're still fine. You're meh, and you're meh. So overall, value-wise, besides being a double featured unit banner, I think it's a little bit on the low side. None of these characters will blow me out of the water, so, be warned on that. But what do Souei and Souka do now that they are out? Let's take a look at Souei first, because I actually got him wrong during the live stream coverage translation, because Google failed me. So first off, he is obviously leading the Schemer meta, gives 100% extra damage against wind enemies, and then physical characters get 25% attack and defense. And like all burst protectors, he gives you those free 30 points on turns 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's pretty standard across the board. His skill changes every single colored orb on the field to green, and then one of them becomes a rainbow. So kind of like how Warrior's Mind Shuna changed everything to orange, and then there were 2 rainbows. Souei has greens, but 1 singular rainbow, which is honestly quite fine because we have a lot of ways to buff green orbs, unlike oranges. So I think that's perfectly fine. He has the Inspire gimmick, which only works on physical allies, so no magic characters are going to get this. But every time you hit an enemy twice, whether it be from sending 2 orbs, or having follow-up hits, or having multi-hits, you're going to get a permanent 5% attack buff for the rest of the fight. And so if you hit them, with 6 orbs, plus the follow-ups, that's another 6, plus the multi-hit, which is another 9 hits, you're going to be stacking up quite a bit of attack every single turn. And that's going to help Souka's skill out that we'll talk about in a second. And these are permanent stacks, so they just don't stop at turn 5. They'll go on forever, technically. But you do get permanent attack stats. And then, on top of that, he does give an EX alt damage buff. I think when I did the video this morning, it was normal alt. It is not. It is EX alt damage, 20%. But if it's done within 5 turns, it's 100%. So a lot friggin' higher. So even after turn 5 passes, Souei is still useful. He's still going to change your orbs. He's still going to stack your attack. He's still going to give you some kind of EX alt damage. It's just not going to be peak levels, and he's not going to give you those free 30 points anymore. So he can still be useful in kind of a longer format setting where you can try and stack with him. It's just a bit rough. And then his actual trait, if you pull dupes of him, is extra attack for all allies. It's pretty standard. It's nothing to be, you don't need dupes of Souei for anything. You generally don't need dupes of protectors for anything. But then we have the new Souka, who I think is a fairly good character. So she is space. She's on Schemer, Wholehearted Devotion, Pretty Sparkle. She uses a sword. And she is a single target nuking character, which quite honestly, for this team, does not matter. I really don't think it matters, because you are probably not killing with this Souka. You're killing with her gimmick. So her damage is not really necessary, really. Her first skill, though, is guaranteed synergy for everybody, including the backline, just like Divine General Diablo, and then gives everybody 50% synergy power, including the backline, which is half of what Diablo does. But, just like Souei, if you do it within the first 5 turns, it's stronger. And for her, it's 100% synergy power. So essentially, if you have Soka, she is a Divine General Diablo synergy buff for 40 points less. Essentially. Because she has no restrictions. It's just synergy rate, synergy power. 100%, 100%. Same thing as Diablo. If you go past turn 5 and you're on turn 8 or something, it's only 50%. But 50% synergy power is still solid. And it, again, is only 50 points. So she is just a cheaper damage buffing support alternative to Divine General Diablo, which I think is very impactful because we know how good Diablo has been for the past 7 months. So if he's good, Soka's good. It's just that Diablo remains good past turn 5, whereas Soka does drop off a bit. However, it really boils down to her second skill, though. And that is the Gilgamesh Gate of Babylon Fate kind of skill, where at the end of turn 5, specifically and only turn 5, it only hits that one turn, it never hits again. But she takes into account your total attack stat, which you are stacking with Souei, or buffing with a different character who has an attack buff. And then the amount of hits that you do for 5 turns. So, normal 6 orbs, follow-up orbs, multi-hit orbs. If you can do like 150 hits total in 5 turns, then you're pretty much capped out. And then you're going to do a literal butt ton of damage with all of these swords coming in that you saw in the live stream video. She will pretty much kill anything at that point. If you have 150 stacks, nothing is going to live unless it has hundreds of, like, 80 million HP or something. And even then, I don't know. On top of that, if you're a schemer ally, you get an extra hit. So you get +1 to whatever you're doing if you happen to be on the schemer force, which is great because that will just help you get to that cap, that 150 cap faster. And then if that wasn't enough, she has a 50% green gauge increase, just like Divine General Diablo. But it's for 3 turns, not 1. It doesn't have the multi-hit, but it has this fucking sword attack thing. So she is, in some ways, a power-crept version of Divine General Diablo. And that makes her a very good character, just in and of itself. Because Divine General Diablo is a very good character, in and of himself. They do slightly different things, but I think that her offset of having a 3-turn gauge buff, plus this gimmick skill, almost makes up for the multi-skill gimmick that Diablo has. So they do slightly different things. They can be interchangeable for their damage buff, essentially, especially in 5 turns. Diablo is being used on almost every single burst team that allows you to use synergy. And so if you can do it for 40 points less, then just bring Soka, and you're going to be fine. On top of that, her Valor trait nerfs blues. All right, don't care about that. But her actual trait is Protection Gauge every 2 turns, which is one of the best traits in the game. So on top of 1, looking very good, art style-wise, 2, having a good damage buff support skill, 3, having a good gauge increase / gimmick skill, 4, having a good trait in general, means that she pretty much ticks all the boxes that I would require a unit to be for me to consider her top tier. Right? I'm not entirely sure how you would make this Soka better except by just removing the turn limit on this thing and giving it the full 100% forever, but then that would be a 90-point skill again, and it would just literally be Diablo. I don't really know right now how you would make this Soka better than what she already is, unless you gave her multiple turns of this attack or something, like Reckoning or Vengeance, from turn 5 onwards. But for what she is and what she needs to do, I think she's fantastic. Which, again, really hurts a lot of people, because I'm going to tell you that she's worth summoning for. Souei is fine. He definitely plays into Soka with the stacking attack buff, since Soka's Gilgamesh skill is based off your attack stat. So they definitely want to work together. But I think you can run Soka without Souei and still be okay. Like use Exalted Champion Velzard or Octagram Demon Lord guy or something like that, and I think it'll be fine. But if you have both of them, there's not a lot of things that are going to survive this game, this team. So I think they are worth a summon. The only kind of concerns I would have for people summoning is if you literally have nothing to summon with, then you're in a pickle, right? You're not going to summon. If you have like 1,000 crystals or something, I would, and you have like the Warrior's Mind team or you have the Spirit Master team, you have a team that you can run with and kind of clear everything. I would say maybe don't summon. Hold on to your 1,000 crystals because it's not enough to guarantee you're going to get a Soka or Souei. And I really don't condone people throwing 2 or 3 multis at every single banner that ever comes out for the next 6 months. That's just not a good way to save, not a good way to spend your crystals. If you're going to summon, you should summon for something that you can guarantee yourself, which means holding on and saving crystals. So if you have a surplus of crystals and you like the Soka and Souei kit and you're not concerned about anything, then summon. I think they're good pickups. If you have nothing, then you're not summoning at all. And if you only have enough for like 2 multis or something, I would, and you have a good team, existing team already, I would say save. If you're a new player coming in and this is your first banner ever, then summon. If you have no existing team whatsoever, you have a lot of crystals, summon for Soka and Souei, because they're going to be your primary team that you're going to run for a long time. So those are like the 4 different scenarios that people are probably in. If you're a whale and you don't care, you've already summoned and you don't need this video, obviously. But I think they are good units overall. Just as a reminder, when you do the event, the flip card here is where you're going to get the 2 free multis for that banner. So everyone will be able to grind out 20 tickets for the Soka and Souei banner from this flip card event. And if you don't know what a flip card event is, I'll probably put a video up telling you how to do it shortly or tomorrow. But everyone can at least get 2 free multis for this banner. So maybe you pray that you can get them lucky there. If you have Koban, that's another 3 multis that you could put on. So a total of 5 multis you could put on the banner. Potential exists. But all in all, I think they are fairly solid, and I think they are pretty worthwhile overall. So, with that said, if you already summoned, let me know how your summons went. I have to go to 250 pity, which is going to be 270 after I farm out those 2 free multis. So I did not do very well. So please, try your best to make me salty in the comments below with your summon luck. Or maybe make me not feel so bad and tell me that you got shafted as well. I don't know. I don't care. You can lie to me and make me feel better about myself. I'd appreciate it. But the Soka and Souei, I think, are pretty good. So let me know what you guys think. Again, let me know how your summons went. But that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.